What if justice came not from the courts, but from beyond the grave? This is the story of Rosemont Hollow, a small Appalachian town that became the center of an extraordinary case, one where the dead refused to stay silent. When Eliza Grayson passed under mysterious circumstances, her grieving sister claimed to have been visited by her spirit, who revealed a chilling truth. What happened next would change the town forever. In the winter of 1898, Eliza Grayson, a young woman known for her kindness and beauty, was found dead in her home. Her husband, Henry, claimed she had fallen ill and passed away suddenly. The townsfolk accepted his explanation, and Eliza was laid to rest in the frost-covered cemetery on the hill. But her sister, Clara, was unconvinced. She had seen no signs of illness when they last met, and Henry's behavior at the funeral struck her as cold and detached. Clara couldn't shake the feeling that something was deeply wrong. Weeks after the burial, Clara began experiencing strange dreams. In them, Eliza appeared, pale and sorrowful, standing at the foot of Clara's bed. At first, the dreams were fleeting, filled with vague warnings. But one night, Eliza spoke clearly. "He killed me." Clara awoke in a cold sweat. The next day, she visited the sheriff, pleading for an investigation. But Henry was a respected man, and her claims were dismissed as grief-driven delusions. Undeterred, Clara began her own inquiries, speaking to neighbors and gathering accounts of Henry's erratic behavior leading up to Eliza's death. The dreams persisted. Eliza revealed details Clara couldn't have known. The location of bruises hidden beneath her dress, the poison Henry had slipped into her tea, and the exact spot where Clara would find the vial he had discarded. Following these clues, Clara uncovered the evidence: a small glass bottle buried beneath the old oak tree behind the house. Armed with the vial, Clara confronted Henry. The confrontation was heated, and Henry's calm facade cracked. He lashed out, calling Clara insane, but his words betrayed his guilt. Clara rushed to the sheriff with the evidence, demanding that Eliza's body be exhumed. The exhumation revealed what Eliza's spirit had described: traces of poison in her remains. Henry was arrested and put on trial. Throughout the proceedings, Clara's testimony about Eliza's ghost was ridiculed, but the physical evidence was undeniable. Henry was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. After the trial, Clara visited Eliza's grave one last time. As she placed flowers on the headstone, a gentle breeze swept through the cemetery, and Clara felt a sense of peace she hadn't known since her sister's death. "Rest now, Eliza," she whispered. And for the first time, the nights were free of dreams. The story of Eliza Grayson's ghost became a legend in Rosemont Hollow. Some dismissed it as coincidence, while others believed it was proof that the dead can speak when justice demands it. The old house where Eliza lived stands empty now, but locals say that on quiet nights you can hear her voice on the wind, ensuring her story is never forgotten. If this story of supernatural justice captivated you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who loves the unexplained. Have you ever felt like a loved one was trying to communicate with you from beyond? Tell us in the comments. Your story might inspire our next video.
What if a restless spirit turned to you for justice? This is the story of Eleanor Blackwood, a young woman whose untimely death left a shadow over the quiet town of Maple Hollow. But Eleanor's story didn't end with her burial. When her best friend, Sarah, began experiencing strange and haunting events, it became clear that Eleanor's spirit wouldn't rest until the truth was revealed. What happened next would uncover long-buried secrets and change the town forever. In the fall of 1903, Eleanor Blackwood, a lively and compassionate young woman, was found lifeless at the base of a ravine near her home. The town mourned her passing, and most assumed it was a tragic accident, perhaps a misstep on the steep trail during an evening walk. Her father, a widower and prominent businessman, seemed particularly eager to move on, insisting there was no need for an investigation. But Sarah, Eleanor's closest friend, couldn't accept the explanation. Eleanor had always been cautious on the trails and avoided walking alone after dark. Something about her friend's death felt wrong. Sarah's unease only deepened when she discovered Eleanor's favorite locket, broken and smeared with dirt, hidden under a bush far from the ravine. Not long after the funeral, Sarah began experiencing unsettling phenomena. At night, she'd wake to the faint sound of footsteps in her room, though no one was there. Doors creaked open on their own, and mirrors seemed to cloud over with strange, foggy shapes. One evening, as Sarah lit a candle, a gust of wind extinguished it, yet the windows were shut tight. In the darkness, a faint whisper filled the room. "Help me." Terrified but determined, Sarah began to investigate. She retraced Eleanor's steps on the day of her death, speaking to townsfolk who had seen her. A pattern emerged. Eleanor had been arguing with someone in the days leading up to her death. Sarah's inquiries led her to Thomas Grayson, a farmhand known for his quick temper and history of trouble. As the haunting intensified, Eleanor's spirit began to manifest more clearly. Sarah would see fleeting glimpses of her friend in reflective surfaces, her pale face, her pleading eyes. One night, Eleanor appeared in full, standing at the foot of Sarah's bed. "He pushed me," she whispered, her voice tinged with sorrow and fear. Sarah's fear gave way to resolve. She confronted Thomas, accusing him of being involved in Eleanor's death. At first, he denied everything, but his nervous demeanor and inconsistent answers only fueled her suspicions. Eleanor's presence grew stronger, guiding Sarah to a spot near the ravine. There, hidden beneath a cluster of rocks, Sarah found a bloodied handkerchief embroidered with Thomas's initials. Sarah spent days gathering additional pieces of the puzzle. She revisited conversations with townsfolk, uncovering subtle but telling inconsistencies in Thomas's alibi. One neighbor recalled seeing him near the ravine at dusk, looking agitated. Another admitted hearing a heated argument, but dismissed it as lovers' quarrels. The more Sarah learned, the clearer the picture became. This was no accident. During this time, Eleanor's appearances became more frequent and vivid. Sarah noticed that Eleanor's image grew sharper whenever she uncovered another piece of evidence. It was as if Eleanor's spirit was regaining strength, fueled by the pursuit of truth. In one chilling encounter, Eleanor spoke directly. "You're close, but he's hiding more." With the handkerchief as proof, Sarah gathered a small group of townsfolk and led them to confront Thomas. Pressured by the crowd and the mounting evidence, Thomas broke down and confessed. He admitted to meeting Eleanor that day to demand she keep quiet about his thefts from her father's business. When she threatened to expose him, he lost control and shoved her. The fall had been an accident, but his actions afterward, hiding evidence and lying to the town, sealed his guilt. As the truth came to light, Eleanor's spirit appeared one final time. This time, she wasn't sorrowful or pleading. Instead, she stood tall, her face serene. Sarah felt a sense of warmth and gratitude radiating from her friend before Eleanor faded into the night, finally at peace. Thomas was turned over to the authorities, and the town of Maple Hollow finally learned the truth about Eleanor's death. Sarah, though heartbroken by the loss of her friend, found solace in knowing that justice had been served. The locket, repaired and polished, now rested on Sarah's dresser as a reminder of Eleanor's strength and the bond they shared. The story of Eleanor Blackwood became a legend in Maple Hollow. Visitors to the ravine often speak of inexplicable warmth on the trail or the faint sound of laughter on the wind. Eleanor's story stands as a testament to the power of friendship and the unyielding pursuit of truth. And for Sarah, the memory of her friend lives on, not as a ghost, but as a symbol of courage and justice. If this tale of loyalty and justice gave you chills, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Have you ever felt someone from beyond urging you to uncover a mystery? Share your story in the comments. It could inspire a future video. Thank you for watching, and remember, some bonds are too strong to be broken, even by death.